One unresolved conflict can silently tear apart a team you spent years building. Here are 5 principles to stop that from happening. 2 of your best people are in a room, and the air is thick enough to cut. One just accused the other of sabotaging a client presentation. The other fired back with something personal. Everyone on the floor is pretending not to hear it. You, the manager, are about to walk in there. What you do in the next 5 minutes will either build your reputation or quietly destroy it. This video breaks down exactly how leaders handle conflict without losing their team's trust or their own composure. Most managers treat conflict like a smoke detector they keep hitting snooze on. They wait until someone files an HR complaint or threatens to quit. By then, the damage is already baked in. A study from CPP Global found that U.S. employees spend roughly 2.8 hours per week dealing with workplace conflict. That is almost an entire workday every month wasted on unresolved tension. Leaders who manage conflict well do not wait for explosions. They notice the small stuff: the passive-aggressive Slack message, the person who suddenly stops contributing in meetings, the 2 teammates who used to grab lunch together and now avoid eye contact. When you see friction forming, name it early. Walk over and say something simple like, "I noticed some tension in today's stand-up, can we talk about what is going on?" That one sentence, spoken before things escalate, saves you weeks of cleanup later. Catching conflict early is not micromanaging, it is protecting your team's energy. Now, most managers hear about a conflict, call both people in, and immediately start problem solving. Jumping to solutions before people feel hurt is like putting a bandage on a wound you have not cleaned. It gets infected. Your first job in any conflict is to make each person feel genuinely understood. Sit down with each person separately first, not together. Let them talk without interrupting. Do not defend the other person yet. Just ask one question: "Help me understand your side of this." Then actually listen, not to respond, but to understand. Google's Project Aristotle research found that psychological safety is the single strongest predictor of high-performing teams. People need to know their frustration will not be dismissed or punished before they open up. When someone shares what is bothering them and you reflect it back accurately, something shifts. Their guard drops. That is the exact moment when real resolution becomes possible. Listening is not passive, it is the most active thing a leader can do in a conflict. This next part is where conflict turns from destructive to productive. Most workplace fights feel deeply personal, but they almost never start that way. Someone missed a deadline, and their colleague had to scramble over a weekend. A decision got made without consulting the right people. Credit got assigned to the wrong name in a company-wide email. The behavior caused the hurt, not the human being. Your role as a leader is to redirect the conversation from "you always do this" to "here is what happened and here is what we need going forward." At Amazon, they use a leadership principle called disagree and commit. You challenge ideas aggressively without attacking the person behind them. Teach your team that same language. Replace "you never listened to me" with "I felt unheard when the decision was made without my input." That single reframe moves the conversation from blame to progress, and it is a skill your team will carry into every future disagreement. Most conflicts look like 2 people pulling a rope in opposite directions. Each one believes they are right, and any compromise feels like losing. But great leaders do not just split the difference, they dig deeper. Behind every position sits an interest. One person wants to launch the feature fast because sales promised a client. The other wants more testing time because the last rushed release caused a production outage. On the surface, those positions are opposites. Underneath, both people want the exact same thing: a product that does not embarrass the team in front of customers. Your job is to find that shared ground and build from it. Sit both people down and ask, what would a solution look like that works for both of you? Sometimes they surprise you with creative answers. Maybe a phased rollout satisfies both the deadline and the quality bar. Maybe reducing scope meets the timeline without cutting corners on testing. The third option is almost always sitting there, waiting for someone to look past the argument and ask the right question. This is the step almost every manager skips, and it is the one that matters most. You had the hard conversation, both people shook hands, and everyone agreed to move forward. You feel relieved and mentally cross it off your list. But conflict does not end when the meeting ends, it ends when the new behavior actually sticks. Check back in 1 week. Ask each person privately how things are going. Watch for signs that the tension has genuinely dissolved versus just gone underground. If things are better, say it out loud, tell them you notice the improvement and it matters. If nothing has changed, address it again before resentment builds a second layer. Leaders who follow up consistently earn something no job title can hand them: genuine trust. Their teams learn that when a concern gets raised, it actually gets handled, not shelved. Managing conflict is not about being the loudest voice in the room or the calmest one. It is about being the person willing to walk toward tension when everyone else walks away. So here is your one action before this week ends. Think about one unresolved friction on your team right now, and you already know exactly which one it is. Have a 5-minute private conversation with the person involved. Just say, "I wanted to check in, how are things going?" That is it, one conversation, 5 minutes. Leadership does not start with a title. It starts with the courage to speak up when silence feels easier. If this helped you, subscribe for more honest conversations about leadership and career growth. That's a wrap, thanks for watching. If this gave you one idea you can use today, hit like and subscribe. See you in the next one.